Welcome to Alive and Thriving. My name is Jessica. If you are new, welcome. Hello. If you are returning, welcome back. I am so grateful for you and for everything that you come and share with me after these episodes as well. I love hearing from you. Do you know, recording a podcast has been like when I first decided to record a podcast, I thought, am I really going to be able to sustain this? What am I even going to talk about? And sometimes I still get that a little bit. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I know what I want to talk about, but is this really what I want to talk about? And then I'll start an episode and then it's just flows. And sometimes it just flows completely through me. And I love that. I really love that. And I love hearing the positive impact that these episodes have on you. I love seeing the emails that say, I listened and I implemented. I love hearing how things have impacted you. I love hearing the awareness that you've had around something, or the shift that you've made, or the thing you've gone and done in your business, or the belief that you are shifting about being anxious or about being able to heal or live a life in a way that you want to live it. Like, I love hearing those things. Welcome to today's episode. Today, we are going to be talking about not skipping over the identity work in our business. And some of you may want to tune out like straight away. I may have literally just lost half of you listening because you're like, oh gosh, she's banging on about this again. But you know what? You're going to hear today there is a reason that we do not skip over this identity work. And the fact that we are frightened to do it is because often it's uncomfortable and it takes us into depths of ourselves that I believe you'll only get to the depth of what you're ready to when you're ready. But even that first layer can feel scary. And especially if we're not used to sitting in our feelings and we're not used to actually somatically experiencing what it is that we're going through because it feels scary. So that is a part of the reason why I believe people will skip over the identity work and they will keep going for the external strategy and the external resources and the external answers. And that keeps you in victim mortality, victim mindset, victim mentality. That keeps you there because you're not upgrading your identity to actually have the beliefs that you need to hold in order to be able to create what you need to create. So let's get into this episode.
You're listening to Alive and Thriving with Jessica Reed, the podcast that's all about empowering you to achieve optimal wellness and success through self-care, holistic practices, and raw conversation. Jessica and her expert guests are here to share powerful insights and strategies to help you overcome stress and anxiety, take charge of your life, and thrive in life and in business. Grab a cuppa and let's dive in.
So I'm just going to come straight out and say it right now, the very beginning of the episode. You cannot skip over the identity work if you are growing a business. You cannot skip over it. So often people will go and they will invest in their strategy and they will invest in all of these things that they think, their website, their logo. They're investing in all of these external things that, yes, will form a beautiful ecosystem in your business. But if you don't have the identity to hold what it is that you want to create, it doesn't matter how good your strategy is. It doesn't matter how amazing your funnel is. If your nervous system does not believe that it is safe for you to hold that amount of money, that amount of clients, that level of visibility, if you do not truly believe that you are the woman that can actually create that and live that life and have that experience, then you are going to come circling back. You are going to sabotage. You are going to be finding that you are up against all of these invisible glass ceilings, and your mind is going to tell you all of these stories. It is going to keep telling you, oh, it's because of this. It's because of this. You just need to invest in this. And then someone comes along and says, oh, this mindset course would be really great for you if you're struggling with self-belief. And your brain's like, no. The problem is that I just need to know how to do better Instagram reels. No. Yes, maybe you do. I'm not saying that those things aren't real things that we learn and that we need to implement into our business. But some people have super successful businesses and they don't even do Instagram reels. So every story that you tell yourself about why you are not yet where you want to be is exactly that. It is a story. And it is a story that is fueled by a belief that you have formed as a part of your subconscious programming, which is forming your identity. See, you can't skip past it. You really can't. And I really, it really, I can, you could not make somebody be at a different part of their journey than what they are ready to. But when someone's ego is so loud saying, no, I don't need to do that work, my heart just breaks. And it really is like it irritates me, to be honest. It really does. Because then we stay stuck in this victim mentality that is taking no radical responsibility for anything that is being reflected back to you in your business. If you are meeting the same problems all of the time, then you have identity work to do. If you are experiencing anxiety, if you're experiencing stress, if your imposter syndrome is really super loud, you have identity work to do. Okay? And I can give you a really great example of this. And I made a reel about this the other day. I posted a reel, my imposter syndrome. She used to be there and say to me, you know what? All of these amazing coaches, these quote unquote high level coaches, they all have these really beautiful beige feeds, right? Like they're either really bold or they're really beige. And they all have these like really beautifully curated feeds. And I love that. I love that. But you know what? For now, right now, I've tried it. It's not the timing for me to have these curated feeds. And I stopped letting it stress me. But I held on to this story that because maybe my home wasn't Instagrammable enough, my images weren't Instagrammable enough, my day-to-day content wasn't this like professionally curated Instagrammable content, and therefore my feed wasn't this like beautiful blend of beiges and I was like, okay, I am perceiving my imposter syndrome was telling me that I was not good enough because of that, and that I was less than of a mentor, of an alternative therapist, like less than worthy of being successful because my Instagram didn't look as high level as that. Now, I am all for, and I hope that you continue to see my feed evolve as my business grows. I am all for beautifully curated feeds. I'm not saying that. Completely agree that everything should be on brand. And I do my very best to have a really cohesive brand presented across all of my platforms. So, yes, that can position you as an authority. But my head was literally like, you're not as good as them because of this. So here's where I started to balance. Okay, so what do I like perceive as being an authority? And then I looked through at all of the things that I had actually done in my business. I was able to look at this imposter syndrome and I was able to look at this story. It was just a story. It was literally just a story. Because you know what? These particular feeds that I was looking at, the level of what they are holding, I'm still building up to that. If you were to hand me over a multi-million dollar business right now, my business doesn't have the systems for that yet. I'm building to it. But I've just built to the six figures, right? Like, I need to be okay with my step by step and not jump ahead on my journey and trust that everything that I am doing now is leading me towards my big goals, my manifestations. I feel they're coming. I know they're coming. I shared a story last week on the episode with Claire about how I had asked the universe to deliver me a very specific sign if I was on the right pathway with something. And it did very clearly. If you didn't hear it, I said if I'm on the right pathway with this thing in my business, then show me a monkey. And I was like, I'm not going to see a monkey. I'm in Canberra. This will really show me, like, if I see the monkey, then I'll know I'm on the right pathway. And I woke up the next morning with my 4-year-old over my shoulder with this toy monkey in my face going, monkey. Well, I think it was more of a gorilla actually. But she was saying, monkey. And I was like, okay, all right, I hear you. Last night, oh my goodness, I have to share this actually, because I know I'm on the right path. And I've just digressed into a whole different topic, I think, for today. I'm going to circle back, I promise. Part of it's really been a huge part of my identity shift and the beliefs that I hold has been shifting my beliefs around trust and around my abilities. So last night I was looking at this really, I'm not going to say it's a big goal, but it's further ahead than where I am. But I feel neutral about it in my body. I feel completely neutral about it. And so my head, my body is great. When are we getting to 100K months? Let's get there. I am ready. I want to hold this. And then I look at what I'm doing. I look at what I'm doing in my business and I look at the systems that I'm implementing and I'm looking at the automations and I'm looking at all of these things that I'm putting together and appropriate program pricing. And what I mean by that is that making sure that I am not undercharging for what I offer in terms of transformation. And also looking at, do my containers make sense? Do they flow together? Is there a beautiful journey that my clients go through? Which I really do believe now that there is a really beautiful journey that I take my clients on. We go from, maybe we come in through a lead magnet, through some tapping or a tapping circle. Maybe we come in through becoming limitless, which is, by the way, a one-off payment of $79 to have a 30-minute call with me, as well as my online Becoming Limitless experience that you get access to instantly. So it is amazing because you can come into Becoming Limitless and you can actually start to find a belief that is not serving you. And you can go through my signature 4-step process to shift that in your body and start reprogramming in a new belief. This is the beginning of the identity work. Like this awareness that Becoming Limitless teaches, this is where we start at. This is where we start at. And then we go deeper in Embodied Entrepreneur. And that is where we really bridge the gap between who you really need to be. No, I have the hiccups. Who you really need to be to hold what you want to have. And then we go even further. We go into the mastermind where we are meeting our continual new edges and we're implementing our strengths-led strategy. And we are really not only learning to think and embody the successful entrepreneur, but we are actively being that version of ourselves in this beautiful container. But do you know what? If I hadn't been doing this identity work with myself, I would not have gotten to this belief, this conviction, this full embodiment within me that what I have created is really life transforming, 100% life transforming. And I know that. And so I'm sitting in this space and I'm manifesting in my journal, like, yep, now that I have 100K months. And it's so funny because last night I had just recently changed Embodied Entrepreneur from being a 4-month container to a 12-month container because it's an integration, because we are doing a whole big identity shift. Like we are upgrading our identity in this, and that takes time and life gets in the way, and there will always be shadows to work with and to heal and beliefs. And so as we move through my 4-step activation pathway in Embodied Entrepreneur, I was like, that needs more time. 4 months is not okay for that. And I wanted to support you through that as well. So I've just stretched it out to 12 months, which means that I had to adjust the price a little bit because it was priced for a 4-month live support package, live support program. So anyway, I've adjusted the pricing and the full price of the program now is $3,333. And last night I was, again, doing my journaling and my manifesting, and I was like, okay, asking myself questions. How does it feel? Like, what do I feel like when I have 100K? And then I realized 100K months. And then I realized I don't feel any different. I don't feel any different. I'm neutral about this. It feels really safe in my body. And then I thought, just out of curiosity, what do I need to do a day to get 100K months? And you're not going to believe this comes back to my I know I'm on the right pathway. I haven't even told my mentor this yet. You guys are the first to know. Divide up 100K by 30 days and you get $3,333. And I don't know what ever cents, but that is what I just priced like my whole body right now. That is what I just priced my new program, my updated version of this program. If that is not a sign, then I don't know what is. I am on the right pathway, and every bit of my identity now believes that because I'm choosing to identify as the woman who is already successful. I'm choosing to ask myself questions like, what would I be doing in my mornings? How would I be thinking differently? How would I be feeling differently? What version of me needs to show up today to make this happen? I get beautifully reminded by my mentors when I get super, super deep into the strategy because there's a part of me that really loves it. And that's why, like, when you come into the mastermind, I get so lit up by being able to respond to you with your strategy. But I can get really stuck in my own head when it comes to my business and go down this like rabbit hole of strategy. Right? And so my beautiful mentor, Tracy, the other day in our one-on-one, she's like, why are you so deep in this? Come back up. And as soon as I did that, I was like, yeah, you are so right. And it all just fell into place. So I guess where I'm going with this story is that when we look at who we are now and what we want to achieve, we really need to be looking at who do I need to be? And I don't mean who as in I need to be like my mentor, I need to be like Jess, I need to be like this person's successful, so I need to be like her. I don't mean that. I mean, who do you need to be with your beliefs, with your life experiences to be okay with holding your next level? So if there is a gap between where you currently are now and where you want to be, that gap is going to be in your identity work. Okay. And again, even if your mind is like, oh, yes, but I need to learn this and I need to learn this. Okay. Maybe you do, but let's just rein it back because we can't skip over this identity work. Because if you learned that thing and then you started holding 100K months and your body was like, this does not feel good. This is more than I used to earn in a year. And you freak out and you can't hold it. Then you're going to sabotage back. And it's the same 5K months, 10K months. It's exactly the same. If you don't feel safe or don't truly believe that you can create that or that it is truly possible for you, and here is how I feel like you could know. First of all, are you holding it yet? Second of all, when you think about that, when you think about maybe it does excite you, but maybe there's also these instant thoughts of doubt pop in. You're imposter. So then if you're listening to her, if you are really allowing her to control your emotional experiences, then you are going to go right back to the story that I started, never finish, because that just seems to be what I do. Yes, welcome to Alive and Thriving, where we start 12 different stories and eventually they all tie up and circle back to the answer, I promise. We are getting there. So it comes back to the story of the beautiful, aesthetically created feed, imposter syndrome that I was talking about before, where I had really a choice. And previous version of me, past version of me, who was insecure, past version of me who had all of these beliefs about my abilities and about my worth and about my qualifications and about being seen as my authentic self. Like past version of me would have seen this as, oh gosh, okay, I need to now spend all of my money being like that person and this is probably my open head center as well. I would have been like, I need to employ someone to make my feed look like that so I can be seen as an authority, so I can be taken seriously in what I do. My gosh, I could have wasted so much money, so much time. And I would have been staying in this victim mentality, this victim mindset that is blaming and looking for external solutions over and over again instead of realizing that the only problem with what I was seeing right then and there was in my head. It was the only problem. Because again, like I said earlier, my business is booked out. I do not have space to work more with one-on-one alternative therapies at this point in time as I record this. I only have space for 2 private business mentoring, and that's only because it's a new container that I have carved out time in my calendar for. My containers, my programs offer a beautiful transformation, life-changing transformations, business-changing transformations. Oh my gosh, long-term relationships with people that I am building. I get to be present with my kids. My trend is to 4 times my business revenue every single year, and I really hope to even keep increasing that. I will keep increasing that. I don't even need to say I hope to. I know I will. And so I looked at this and I'm like, okay, this identity work that I have done has led me to be this person that believes that this is already happening, that I am already successful, and there is evidence that I can look at that shows me that. Now, without that work, I could have looked at all of this evidence of where I am now, and I could have been like, oh, I'm here picking up my kids, I'm walking to school. And my brain could have gone to, yeah, but you don't have that yet. Yeah, but look what she's doing. Yeah, but there is more. Of course, there's more. But again, I know, I think I said this earlier. If someone handed me over their multi-million-dollar business right now, I would collapse under the weight of it, because this is a beautiful growth journey that I am on. And I now know, and again, through the identity work, because there was a part of me that was always coming forward that really wanted to be further ahead than I was. There is an episode of this on acceptance. I forget the number, but I'll see if we can link it in the show notes. But this identity work of who I actually am, what do I value in the here and the now? What do I believe is possible for me? And asking the questions, who do I need to be to show up? Like, how do I need to be thinking? What actions do I need to be taking? How do I need to be looking after myself? If this is what I am getting in my current reality, based on how I'm thinking, how I'm showing up, the behaviors that I have, the actions that I'm taking, that's what's happening. That's where it's coming from, my current reality. My current reality is coming from my perception. And so if this is what I'm thinking now, but I'm not getting what I think I want, or I'm not feeling satisfaction, and I'm not feeling at ease, or I'm not feeling peaceful, then what do I need to be thinking and who do I need to be embodying to do that? I talk about the embodied entrepreneur. Like I said, it's a whole program. I talk about the embodied entrepreneur, and it's not just a buzzword. The embodiment is you finding safety in that identity. At a cellular level, you finding safety in holding that next level because your nervous system supports it, because your belief systems support it, because then your conscious thinking patterns and therefore your actions then start to support it. It is a full embodiment. And so you can see how, circling back to that story, that with the beliefs and the identity of someone who is stuck in only being able to earn a certain level of money, stuck in the beliefs that no matter what I put out, nobody buys, stuck in, oh, I'm not getting any engagement, therefore I must be doing something wrong in my Instagram. The version of me, or the version of you stuck in those old beliefs, there is no way that she would have been able to have the same internal response to that same situation. And it's amazing because at that point in time, like this was just the other day, that thought popped in. At that point in time, I had this awareness that I was like, wow, previously that would have derailed me. And now it's this, and I would have literally contracted. I would have wanted to shy away. Oh, I think I'm not good enough now. Everybody else must be thinking that I better go and make sure I spend $1,000 on somebody making my feed look pretty a month. No, I might do it one day. I hope that the quality of my content only continues to grow. For now, I am really at peace with where I am. I love the growth, but I have also made peace with where I am. And that's the thing, like, you cannot move forward until you've made peace with where you are. And I had to learn that the hard way. And so if you are sitting in a place where it's, I want to be here, I want to be here, I want to be here, and it's making you feel anything other than good about where you are right now, then that is the first work that you need to do. But that is all tied into, who are you being in the here and now? What do you believe? What do you actually truly believe? And I want you to be able to learn to decipher the difference between what you believe and the story that your mind is telling you. Because that story is your repeated version of reality. The belief that is deep underneath, that might be something that was a little left field for you, or something that you weren't entirely expecting. So don't take your stories as the full truth, because they're not. There's a reason they're called stories. I will remind you again that your thought patterns are literally just neural pathways that have been firing and wiring the same way together. And because those pathways have been built, and the brain likes to keep things really simple because it needs to spend all this energy on keeping you alive every day, instead of having to think about what our next thought is going to be. But we've got pathways to make that easy. But just because they've always been your normal doesn't mean they have to be your normal. And just because you've always felt something was your identity does not mean that it has to stay your identity. In fact, it shouldn't if you want to grow. I don't know, like, I feel like, think about identity and it's like, I'm going to hold on to this because this is my identity. This is who I am. This is how I know myself. Why are we so scared to change that? Why are we so scared to do the identity work? Why is our first thought, when something is not going well in our business, that our first thought is like, oh, I better try a new webinar. I better try a new strategy. I better invest in this person. I better learn this. Oh, she's doing that, so therefore I need to go and buy her funnel. Like, why? Why can't it actually be an internal reflection of, do I truly actually believe within my body? Does it feel like it feels safe for me to hold that? Do I truly believe it? Because sometimes I think we trick ourselves into believing it, into believing that we think we do. So we'll sit there and we'll have our conscious mind saying, yes, of course I believe I'm good enough. Of course I believe that I want that much money. Of course I believe I can hold that many clients a week. Of course I believe I can launch that program. But then you are actively doing things, and in your body there's that little niggle, there's the frustrations, there's the contractions. There's the little thoughts that keep popping in, but then your mind's, no, I believe it's true. I believe it's true. But they're just empty words if you don't have the emotional and somatic response to back it up. They're empty words. That's why we need to get down into the root cause of your beliefs, which I really, again, EFT, hypnotherapy, body psychotherapy, anything that you can do that works with the body and the sensations within that, you're going to get to the root cause really quickly. This is what we do in all of my programs at some level. Every single one of them. Why? Because again, I know that for you to hold any kind of change, for you to create the impact you want to create with your business, for you to implement the funnels you want, for you to be seen at the visibility level that you want, for you to hold the income that you want, for you to want to let go of your perception of business being stressful. Because how's that impacting your bottom line? For you to want to let go of the anxiety that is keeping you in this anxious state in your business as well as your life. For you to make any changes at all. We do that from the root cause. We do that right from the beginning, from where it's actually living in your body. Because that is how we get lasting results. No fluffy work over here. We're not skipping over the hard stuff. So I know I said at the beginning, when I said we're going to talk about identity today, some of you just checked out straight away. And that's, if you're still here and you had the urge to check out, then I congratulate you, because there is a part of you who knows that there are beliefs within you and programming within you that is not serving and not getting you to where you want to go. At some point, we need to look at and say, okay, if I keep hitting the same problem, if I keep hitting the same block, if I keep getting to the same point and then spiraling backwards, I keep hitting the same point and then becoming unwell. At some point, we've got to look at the fact that the solution isn't external, it's completely internal. Because if you keep doing the same thing, you're not going to get different results. And whilst you might be changing your actions, or you might be changing your strategy, you might be changing your launch strategy, again, are you embodying the identity who's actually going to hold that level of result? Good question. Are you? So, how can you figure that out? How can you start a little bit of a self exploration as to whether or not that is where you are at? If you want to, you can literally go and jump into becoming limitless right now. I know I shared a little bit about that with you earlier. There is a workbook process in there as well. There is a 90-minute immersive online experience that it's like a workshop. I guess it'd be the simplest way to describe that. Be trying to keep it fancy, let's keep it real. There is a 90-minute online workshop that you get instant access to. So you can go and you can do that right now. But if you just want to work through this on your own, then I want you to make 3 columns on a piece of paper. And on the first column, I want you to write down exactly what you want to be achieving. Exactly what it is. I want $100,000 months in my business. Okay. I want to feel happy every single day. I want to go on 5 holidays a year. What do you want in your life? I want to be present at school pickup. What do you want in your life? I want weekends off. Okay. Write down what it is you want. What are your goals? What do you want? What do you want to experience? Then in the second column, in those areas of your life or your business, your family, your feelings, your internal world and your external world, I want you to write down how it currently is. And don't sugarcoat it. If you want a deeply loving relationship and things are really hard and challenging right now, this is not the time to make excuses because you know he's going through a lot and he's really stressed. I shouldn't have said that in that tone. I deeply care. But I'm saying this is not the time to make excuses. No reasoning, no meaning, just literally like a mirror, a really brutal dressing room mirror of your life. I hate the dressing room mirrors. I know, it's just, there's just something about them that no matter how body confident I am feeling, which has taken me a very long time to get to, oh, those mirrors, they're awful. Anyway, so we are looking in the second column at a really raw dressing room mirror reflection of how that area of your life is. Then the third column, we get to work out what the gap is. And this gap, someone might advise you to look at, what do I need to do? What steps do I need to take? And that is a great question. Absolutely. You can start with that if you get stuck on the next question. So if you get stuck on the next question, start with, what steps do I need to take to get there? But the question really truly is, in that third column, what belief do I have about that first column, about myself that is impacting that first column, about the world, about business, about whatever that is impacting that first column? What belief do I have in that first column that is blocking me from getting to the second column? What belief do I hold? And if you're really struggling to get there, again, becoming limitless is going to be the fastest way for you to go and figure that out. You could literally just jump in and do that. And you can get to that link just below in the show notes. But if you are struggling to get there on your own and you want to do it on your own, I would encourage you, if you have been practicing, like we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, practicing dropping into your body, go back and listen to that episode if you're not. But can you close your eyes, find where the discomfort is, and let's not do anything fancy here. Place your hands over that area and just sit with it. Just sit with it and open up for curiosity. What do I believe about earning $100,000 a month? What do I believe about my ability to pick up my kids from school every day? Oh gosh, I can't do that. Notice the stories. Okay, I can't do that because I'm really busy. Am I actually that busy? Let's now question that. Or do I just truly believe that running a business is so hard that I have to be on all the time and therefore I can't actually stop my day at 2:30, go pick up my kids and be present for the afternoon? Interesting. It's amazing what you will get to when you come into your body. Follow the story or follow your body. And again, if you are having trouble identifying the belief, you can ask yourself, what steps do I need to do to get from here to there? Because you might start identifying, oh, okay, if I want to get from 5K months to, I don't know, my goal's 10K months, let's say that. Not my goal, I mean your goal. It's an example. Let's just say I want to get from 5K months to 10K months, and I think about what I have to do to get there. Or maybe all the stories that you have about what you have to do to get there are actually going to be triggering beliefs. Oh gosh, I have to be posting more. I have to be selling in the DMs. Your beliefs are going to block you from taking those steps. So again, you're looking at third column is what belief am I holding about column A, number one, that is preventing me from getting to number two. So what do you do when you've identified the belief and you're not doing the Becoming Limitless workshop, which again is accessible on demand? You can literally go and do it right now. What can you do? There are so many ways to move beliefs through the body, so many ways to bring safety to reprogramming them. Neuroplasticity shows that we can rewire our brain, we can rewire our subconscious. So, first of all, I would always recommend starting with acceptance. We talk about this in Becoming Limitless. We start with acceptance. Acceptance that I've actually got this belief, like acceptance that this is what's been fueling me for this long. This is the programming I've been running from. And there's probably a child in there who thinks that she's doing a really good job keeping you safe because she is operating from this programming for you. So I would really recommend using a tool like EFT to move your belief through, to start to bring, first of all, some safety to it. So that might look like on the side of your hand tapping, even though I believe that in order to be successful in business, I'm never allowed to switch off. I accept that I've been feeling this way. Or even though I believe that if I want to earn consistent 10K months, I have to work 40 hours a week. But I accept that I feel this way. So just starting with the acceptance on that belief and just allow that resistance to start to lower in your body. Because remember I said before, if we meet something with resistance, it's really like we're not going to shift it. You're not going to shift it if you're meeting it with resistance. So then you tap around your body and you would just repeat the belief. We'll keep this really super simple, clinical EFT style, repeating the belief. I have to work really hard to be successful. If I'm not working hard, I won't be successful. That kind of money is not possible for me. I don't believe I can actually get there. I don't know if I can actually get there. You have decided what your belief is. And so you would just tap that phrase, that reminder phrase around your body, and tapping on all of the points and repeating that 3 rounds, maybe 4 rounds until you feel like the intensity has gone down a little bit. Then I would keep going until you feel like that statement means nothing to you. And once you get down to maybe a 0 out of 10 in terms of how much emotional intensity that holds for you, then we get to plug in a new belief. And if you're doing Becoming Limitless, I facilitate that. I also give you an audio so that you can keep reprogramming. I have the hiccups now. Goodness, keep reprogramming that new belief ongoing and really advantage of the way that our brain rewires. We want to repeat. Our brain loves repetition, right? The reason though that we do our new belief with tapping is because at first you might not believe your new belief. At first you might feel like it is untrue or feel like it's uncomfortable because it's stretchy or it's new or it's different, because it's not what you've fundamentally known growing up about business, about money, about the way the world works, about your capabilities, about whatever it is. And so we tap while we speak on our new belief too. so that we can lower the resistance and we can find safety in those words. So there are plenty of ways, again, that we can rewire beliefs. We can do it with hypnotherapy. We can do it with tapping. We can do it with body-based techniques. So many different ways. You're going to find what works for you. But if you're unsure, you just follow that process that I've just shared with you. And you know what? I would really love to see if you do that exercise with the paper and the 3 columns. I would love to see it. Can you come and share that with me on Instagram? Can you come over and show me the beliefs that you've identified? And I'm going to celebrate you so hard because you are taking the step to recognize that you need to embody a different identity because the identity that you currently have is only giving you your current experiences. It's exciting. It's exciting. And I know it feels scary because sometimes we get to a belief and, oh yeah, that was okay. We could breeze through that one. And then sometimes we get to a belief that kind of rattles us. It's been with us forever and it's really deep. And the thought of getting rid of it is really hard. And you can always reach out for personalized help with that if you're in Becoming Limitless. And we get our 30-minute call together afterwards as well. But don't let that discomfort of meeting your shadows, don't let that discomfort stop you. We are wired with a negative bias and we are wired for protection. And so it is really natural that we get to the uncomfortable things, the scary things, the change. And we go, I'm not going to go and deal with that. That wasn't a nice 20 minutes of my life. Never again will I revisit that memory. Why would I address that story? It feels awful. The more you keep it suppressed, the worse it's going to continue to feel. So we don't skip the identity work. We don't skip it. Ever. Ever. I'll say it again. We don't skip the identity work. Ever. It is fundamental if there is a gap between where you are and where you want to be. It is fundamental if you want to grow in your business, in your life. It's not just about business, it's about life as well. And if you would like some help upgrading your identity, go down and check out the links in the show notes. Becoming Limitless, Embodied Entrepreneur, depending on what level of support you're ready for, how deep you're ready to go. That is why these programs are created. Because I so deeply believe that embodiment of your new identity, that is you gifting yourself a new emotional experience. That is you finding safety in the discomfort of your growth. Oh, that is why I'm here, to help you have a healthy emotional experience in business. And when you are embodying a current identity that is not serving the way that you want to be feeling, you are not having a healthy emotional experience. You're not. Go and check those out. As always, thank you for having me in your ears. If this resonated with you, then please leave a review, share with your friends, subscribe. I don't know what else you're supposed to do with a podcast. Help me be found by other amazing women like you. And come over to Instagram at jessica.reed.ilc and share with me the gap that you've identified. Where is the gap? And maybe there's lots of them, and that's okay. Do you know what? Sometimes there will be a belief that is actually fueling a lot of the gaps. And this is like a domino. You knock one and you can knock a few. Okay. Sometimes, like I said, it might take a few weeks, months to shift. Sometimes there's a lot of conscious work involved, like me saying, oh, okay, I'm going to not engage in that imposter syndrome because I know what I'm worth. And I know what I'm doing and I know the journey that I'm on and the stage of my business that I'm at. So come and share the gaps with me. I cannot wait to hear from you.
Wow, what a journey it's been today. We are so grateful for each and every one of you who tuned in to Alive and Thriving. If you enjoyed this episode and want to help us keep growing, please consider subscribing and leaving a review on your favorite platform. It's a simple but powerful way to support a small business like ours to continue to make an impact.